Like it's mind boggling to me
Yeah.
because a year and a half ago, I was in my bedroom. I was like, you know, broke or decently well off for my age, right? But still, nothing in my name, no credibility at all, right? And I really credit the stuff I've learned here as far as like not only just being able to deliver on the results, right? But I have confidence when, like I'm not scared to take over a brand. Like if a brand approaches me, I remember I'd be like quivering. Like I remember this, I actually work with this client still now, right? But this is like one of the biggest Shopify stores I've ever like had to log into. And I remember like on my mouth, my hand was like shaking because I was so scared. I was gonna click like delete all products or something and
Yeah,
cost them
yeah.
like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like I was terrified. And like ultimately it's like, I have the confidence that I can know what I'm doing because it's not, I have my own experience. Like I have things that, I do have my own experience now going through these things. Like I've been working with a very large brand for well over a year now, right? So it's like I do have my own personal experience, but my foundational point was really from what I learned in the MBA program. And I came on with them and they're, 30, 40, 50 years old, like, a 9-figure CFO, like an international kind of influencer, right? And it's like, I'm actually able to contribute on like the calls we have, right? And like, granted, like I'm not, the reason for their success. And like,
Of
they
course.
probably would have gotten there with or without me, right? But like when I do get on these calls, like I'm very talkative. Like I'm not just like you're some 20-year-old kid like sitting in the background, like kind of watching, like fly on the wall, watching how it goes out. I'm like, why are we going to do this? Like, I'll say to my CFO, like I don't think we should do that. I think we should do this instead. Like this is I'm pushing this week because this is ultimately the payoff we're getting. I'm able to have these insights and like when problems arrive, like some months we smash it, some months we dip, and it's like, well, okay, what is the solution to this? I'm able to really have an understanding of, okay, first I can actually diagnose the issue we have, and then secondly, I can actually come up with like an intelligent solution, right? And I can convey this all. And I actually quite a fault of mine is I'm very passionate about it, so often I'll go in like rants and I'll get very like kind of animated or like talk for like way too long, and they're like, oh, this kid shut up already. But like I'm able to actually like have these like insights that we actually act on, and I'm taken seriously because I have my own experience, but I also really have learned a ton from the experience of you and the experience of other people in the program, right? And like when I don't have to learn everything the hard way, right? Because like other people have done that for me. And like ultimately, like in my life, I think this really has propelled me like, it's probably a decade ahead of where I should be. Or like I should, if I didn't, maybe I would have caught like some lucky winning product or something like that. And then like had
Sure.
my little 15 minutes of this, right? But there's a lot of people, there's a lot of young people kind of in this space. I'm sure they're all over Twitter and things. You've seen them, right? And like, a lot of them are much more successful, a lot more wealth than I am, right? But ultimately, like I'm playing this game is a long term game. Like I recognize when I'm 20, right? And what I see a lot of people who are successful in this space young is that they really lack kind of the fundamental business knowledge, like kind of the experience and like how do things actually work? Like how do you actually run a business? How do you actually what do all these metrics mean? And like really I think I'm very valuable in that way because I'm working with 30 and 40 and 50-year olds with experiences that, have been doing this for decades. And I'm able to sit in that room and like actually be a valuable asset in that conversation. And, I think like ultimately, that this program has allowed me to do that. And it's really taught me the things I don't know. Right. And from that point, I'm able to kind of find resources for those things externally. Right. And in the program themselves. But I would like heavily say that, I would not be anywhere near where I was today, not only for the program, but also just like the sheer amount of free value you give out,
Nice.
in YouTube and things. And I'm not a big fan of kind of people who pump out like courses and things like that. Like I've always back just I remember when I was 15 and I was buying these things and stuff. Like it's always just given me a bad taste in my mouth, because I'm like, if you actually knew what you're doing, then why isn't that how you're making your money, right? But ultimately, like the sheer amount of free value you gave away for free completely changed like my life and my situation, where I knew that like if I like I had like I remember I would like rant to my parents about you even. I'm like, this Charlie guy is just like so smart. Like I'm learning everything from this guy. And I remember getting on the sales call and I had no doubt in my mind that like this program is going to be worth its weight in gold. And, a year later, it is still the best investment I've ever made.
I love it. I think let's end there, dude. I feel like there's no way I could possibly top that. That was amazing. That was phenomenal. I don't even know what I could ask. I think you covered everything. I want to say, first off, just like I really appreciate it. And it's been great to see you grow. And like I love to hear more of these success stories. And just like it's so amazing to see how this stuff impacts people. And I'm hoping that there's other folks that are in your situation, whether they're 18 and their like childhood bedroom, throwing half their life savings at something to see if it'll work, or they're 50, like I want to start over, right? Or whatever it looks like. Because I'll say this, I feel like there's three things I hear over and over and over. One, that like the ROI was fast and overwhelming. And two, like the joy that people have from just the freedom that they now have from it. And I think the third thing that I hear from everybody is just that it's so different and so much more than anything else they could find. And like the biggest endorsement I hear from that is, I can't find the same level of this for anything else. It's not like, oh, there's another Facebook thing. It's like, this doesn't exist for email, creative, Google, like none of it. And like that to me is like, that is the most ringing endorsement possible, because look, man, I want this for email. I would love to have this for Google. Like I'll take that class. I can't find it.
Trust me, I've looked for it.
Yeah, dude. Like I've been asked that question now for 2.5 years and I don't have an answer.
I know. And, kind of that's what I was saying about, typically kind of courses and things like that give me kind of that sour taste, right? And it's like, cause it's like you get on there and it's so surface level. And like, you learn something out of it, but it's like you still have a million different questions, right? But with this, like it quite literally answers every single possible question you could possibly have about having to run Facebook. And like you said, I can't find that anywhere else. Like there's courses out there for this and that, right? But they always leave something out, or it's always kind of this like theory on like, oh, you need these flows and you should be doing dynamic cross, like things like that, right? But like this program is literally like, it's not for a beginner who's never, been in digital marketing before, right?
Yeah.
But to take you from, if you're on the 1 yard line, I'd say you probably need to be at least, a 50-yard line, right? And even your YouTube videos are more advanced for someone at, step one, right? But it's like I've taught myself everything I've ever known through Facebook or through YouTube originally, right? That's how I did everything. You can so easily get to that, 50-yard line.
Oh yeah.
There's so much free content people put out, right? But this is ultimately what takes you from 50 to that 100-yard line. And really, I have no doubt in my mind about anything that happens on Facebook anymore. I always have the answer to it. And like that, like I remember you asking me, like, I remember when on our first call, it was like, well, why are you really wanting to enroll in this, right? Like, what are you looking to get out of it? And, ultimately I wanted to master the platform. I wanted to learn, how to do other things, but, this is ultimately where my expertise was, and what drives the most amount of e-com businesses forward is Facebook, right? So ultimately I wanted the confidence that, I knew what I was doing and I knew that it was the correct way to do things. And I think that's what you learn here. And I think, I see through so much bullshit now on the internet, and like quite frankly, I'll look at people, much older than me, much more successful than me, But, I know how Facebook works. I know how the platform works. And I'm like, okay, well, yes, they're very intelligent and very successful, right? But they're doing this wrong. And, like, I can stand on my own 2 feet at 20 years old and know with confidence that they're doing it wrong. And I know why. And ultimately now I have the confidence that in every situation, like, I'm doing the right thing. And that's what I originally wanted. And that's what, I have.
I love it. That's you. And that's why I ask that, is like, I want to know why people are coming in, because also, like, if it's not right for you, like, I'll tell you, or like it is not, there's a reason why there's not a buy now button to join. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, you had to hop on a call. Like, it was like an interview.
Like
you had to like
call.
Get the job. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't mean that in like it's something to be scared of. It's just that, like, there is a vibe check at the door, right? Like, this is not for folks that this isn't right for. And I think you said so much here, but what meant the most to me was just like, I have the confidence to know exactly what I need to do, and I can step into any account and I can make it work, and I can talk to anybody about any of it. And it taught me everything I need to know. And the most valuable part is it also taught me what to do next. And that's, in my opinion, that's what gets me out of bed in the morning, right? That's what puts my head on, I put my head on the pillow at night with a smile on my face, because, like, we've never met. And, like, our lives are both better because of, like, this working. Like, it's just a beautiful thing, man. And I love it. I appreciate your time. I want to respect it and just say, thanks a lot, dude. And, I'll reach out to you on something else about, like, maybe there's a way where we can do something more together if it's a possibility and something you're interested in and something that would work. But it's just exciting, dude. And thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I remember our first calls, and you're like a completely different person in how you think about stuff, how you talk about stuff, and the confidence is undeniable, and that's backed up by the results. And if you have that, doesn't matter what anybody else says, because you got it, and you can do it for yourself anywhere, any day, anytime. And that independence is priceless. Well, I mean, I guess there's like a tuition, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, it's worth, like you said, it's worth its weight in gold. And I love it, man. Thank you very much, dude. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you later.
No, man. Yeah. I mean, thank you. Like really, you have probably had just as big of an impact on, like, my success and where I'm at now as even the people I'm working with on, like, a daily basis have. So, like, really, I'm eternally grateful for you, for, what you've taught, and, not even just professionally, but, even personally. Like, you could probably imagine talking to these people and everything before I really had this confidence. It was very, very difficult, personally too. Like, I used to get crazy anxiety attacks and things like that. And that's like, I get on calls with some pretty ridiculous people and I feel nothing now. Like, I can hold my own. So I'm, eternally grateful for that. Like, ultimately, that has the biggest impact on, like, my kind of personal life. Like, that's probably the biggest change that has happened to me. And, I think what you're doing is so great, and you're really giving out, like, no bullshit information you can't find anywhere else. And I am forever grateful and forever very thankful that, I did take the shot and took the risk and hopped in.
I love it, man. Well, thank you so much, dude. I'll talk to you later, man. It's dinner time. Enjoy yourself. Thank you very much, man. I'll see you later.
Yep, of course. Yep. Have a good one.
Bye.